Caucusing is easy. We made this mock caucus video to show you the basics. See you on February 1st, Iowa.
This is my first time voting. I'm not a registered voter, but I'm just feeling the burn.
Not a problem. Just fill out this form. We'll get you registered as a Democrat.
Hey, I'm a Republican, wants to break up the big banks. Can I caucus for Bernie?
Not a problem. Just fill out this form. We'll get you registered as a Democrat.
I'm an independent. Bernie just inspires me. Enough is enough. Can I still?
Yeah, 100% not a problem. We'll get you registered as a Democrat. Pete, our caucus expert, will take it from here. Pete!
How was your cue?
Oh, sorry, it's these numbers. This is a really tight race. So you want to know about caucusing? All right, I'll tell you how it goes. For starters, Iowa's broken up into 1,681 individual precincts.
So that's where you cast a ballot?
Not quite. Each precinct has a caucus. It's a community meeting. Your precinct caucus location should be in your neighborhood.
So who gets the caucus?
Voters who show up. If you're going to be 18 by election day and you're an Iowan, you can caucus.
And how does the caucus work?
This is the caucus room. Like we were saying before, it could be a library, a community center, your local school. It's anywhere people can move around.
Move around, aren't I just voting?
Nope, you're caucusing. Each of these colors represents a Democratic candidate. 100 caucus scores. X is a committed caucus score. Candidate green, candidate pink, and blue for Bernie.
What are the red U's?
The red U's haven't picked a candidate yet. They're uncommitted. 6:59, let's get off the board. I gotta make the point. If you're not here by 7 o'clock, you won't get in. I love the smell of a caucus. Bev will take it from here. She's good. Two-term Iowa State Senator.
As caucus chair, I call this caucus to order. Okay, let's get to it. Our precinct is allowed to elect 9 delegates to the next level. We have 50 people registered here tonight. That means, according to the formula, you have to have 8 in your group in order to be viable.
Everyone joins a group with their candidate supporters.
And I'll have the Bernie people go over there, pink people come here, greens come over here, and non-committed here, and then we'll count you to see if you're viable.
Viable means your preference group is big enough to be awarded delegates. In most cases, that's 15% of the caucus.
Okay, here are the numbers. Bernie Sanders, 22. The Green candidate, 18. Candidate Pink, 6. Uncommitted is 6. Sorry, Pink, and sorry, non-committed. You are not viable. You will have to go with one of the other preference groups.
Bernie will fight for a living wage.
Yeah! Green has lots of experience.
Yeah! Bernie will combat climate change.
Yeah!
Green is more experienced.
Yeah!
Healthcare is a right.
Yeah!
Okay, the realignment is over. I'll recount the groups. Okay, the final count for the caucus is Greens 21, Bernie 29.
And that's it. That's how you caucus.
So Bernie gets all of the delegates?
No, it's not winner take all. Bernie did get most of the delegates, and Green did get a nice chunk, with Pink being shut out. Remember, you are allowed to vote for your second and third choices.
Makes sense. Thanks, Pete.
You get locked out if you're late.
You can find your caucus location at berniesanders.com/Iowa.
Bernie needs as much support as possible to win.
It makes it easier to identify you as part of the group and may help to build enthusiasm for your candidate.
The establishment doesn't think we'll show up on February 1st.
In fact, they're counting on it.
Prove them wrong and caucus for Bernie.
It's going to be awesome.
Feel the burn, Sanders, feel the burn, Sanders, feel the burn, Sanders, feel the burn.
Volume is good. And echoing. All right. Echo should be gone. Volume should be better. Hey everybody, it's it's noon for me. It's 3 o'clock for people on the East Coast. Looks like I have Scott in here joining me. How you doing,
Hello.
Scott?
I'm doing good.
Hey everybody, it's our intrepid reporter Scott, who is in Iowa. Are you in Iowa City right now, Scott?
Yeah, I'm in Iowa City at a coffee shop.
At a coffee shop, getting ready to. Are you going to be broadcasting anything for us prior to the event tonight?
There's nothing that I know of before
Okay.
the event.
Okay. So you'll be providing a feed for us starting around 6:30 Eastern time.
Should be around that time, I think.
Awesome, excellent.
Now,
Well,
one
thank you
thing
for
about
joining
the
us.
caucus process. I
Yes,
know
you
heard
want to talk about it.
really be empowered about it. After the caucus day,
Yes.
then it becomes the party insiders can manipulate things. It's not as democratic as you think.
Well, that's good. We'll talk about that. Give me a second before we go into that. Before we talk about the details of that, Scott, because you're right. I do need to learn from you what actually happens here. But before we do that, I want to say hi to everybody. I want to take a look at some big important news. So, hi everybody. Let's see who we have here with us. Lots of people in chat right now. I don't have a crew with me right now. I got Scott. Everybody else is off doing some things today. It's a Saturday. People have kids. They got jobs. And if you're in Iowa, you're busting ass on the ground, doing your caucus stuff, running around, canvassing, trying to encourage people to caucus for Bernie. And that is the whole point of this weekend for us. I decided to broadcast today. We have this event tonight with Scott. But see, we got Draka's in here, Jonathan, Tarino, Brenda Brown, Cynical Girl, Jay Atkinson, Morgan. Awesome. Welcome, everybody. Man, it's almost like I just saw you a few hours ago. I kind of did. We got 61 people watching, 104 playbacks so far. Thank you for joining us, guys. Here it is. I'm just going to open up with it right here. This is the goal today. This is the information you need to wage the war against the establishment. I love the end of that Iowa caucus video where the young girl says, the establishment does not expect us to show up. And that is so true. We know that you're going to show up in droves. We already know. And I've got some pictures we can show that kind of prove that. But this is what you need to do today and tomorrow and Monday for Iowa. If you're not there and you can't help and you can't caucus, you need to help us on the web. And I am calling all the world. I want everyone around the world who wants Bernie Sanders to be the American president, who understands what this means, what we are fighting. This is our American revolution, folks. These are the accounts you need to follow. Hector Segala, Aiden King. Bernie Sanders is the one they really want you to pay attention to and retweet everything he's got going on with the hashtag not me, us. That's it. We're gonna, and then if you go, there's a post we're gonna look at in a second. Actually, let's just pull that up here. There's a post that we can look at that Hector pushed out this morning, and so I'll pull it up here and we'll read it together. This campaign is about you, not me, us. And this is beautiful. That piece of artwork was done by a volunteer. That's a fan. That's a supporter of Bernie. And that's what makes this campaign so powerful, everybody, is that no matter what the Clinton campaign does, no matter what mainstream media tries to say, no matter how they try to distort the truth, if we stay together, if we stay with each other and we see the truth together, we understand what's going on here, we continue to make this kind of media. No other president in the history of this country, of any country, has ever had this kind of an outpouring of human effort all over the world. There's people on the ground right now for Bernie Sanders in the United States. The web is flooded with people from all over the world trying to help Americans elect Bernie Sanders, do what they can. Our artwork comes from Belgium. We get other information we get Ireland, England, Spain, France. We got people from everywhere, folks, helping Bernie Sanders, helping us, helping the American people after decades and decades of us kind of letting our government just do whatever the hell it wanted. This campaign is about us, not me, us. That's what Bernie says. And when he says it, we actually believe him. That's the difference for me, is that when Bernie Sanders speaks to me, I actually believe what he has to say. Now, what they're asking us to do, I'm just going to read this. Let's cut to this. And then we're going to get to some painful information that I'm sure Scott wants to share with us about the reality of caucusing and what's really going to happen. But that ties into the long game. Let's just read what Hector has to say. So this afternoon at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. PST, so it just passed, it's an hour ago, be rolling out a big social media call to action on Twitter. The goal to send Bernie into the Iowa caucus this Monday with all of our support. The push revolves around an amazing supporter-made artwork titled "Not Me, Us," and that's what we're looking at right there, folks, or most of it anyway on the screen. He says, Bernie has said it since day one. This campaign is not about him, it's about you. Show your support on social media with a message including the hashtag #NotMeUs. What's really cool is if you go to this page, and it's being blasted all over the web. I think it's bernie.to/NotMeUs. They've got a whole bunch of clickable tweets right here with statements that you can use. And underneath, we've got a whole bunch of volunteer-created graphics. This here, folks, is what they can't compete with. No amount of money in the world can compete with user-generated content. No amount of money in the world, no amount of corporate backing, super PACs, bullshit being thrown out on mainstream media, no amount of that establishment dirty play can compete with or even hope to beat what the people can do when they are inspired. And that's what they can't quantify it. They can't qualify it. They don't know what to do about it. They're scared shitless because they haven't seen people inspired like this in probably 100 years. Actually, people were inspired with Kennedy, and they had a way to take care of that. Bernie just got Secret Service protection, which Scott doesn't like, but we hope it helps Bernie to some extent. 75 people watching, 162 playbacks. Thank you for joining us today, guys. I'm just going to show it one more time. The reason we are here today is this, in its poorly framed fashion. This is why we are here. Please, this is a desperate call from me to the world. Help us. Help us with this hashtag. Help us on the internet. Help us with this today and tomorrow and Monday, because this is my generation's D-Day. We are at war. We are at war against the establishment. Sometimes I take pause and I go, I can't believe those words are coming out of my mouth on air. Got people listening to me. Where are the black helicopters? But the truth is, they know, they're well aware. The NSA has tapped everybody, right? They're well aware what we're saying about Bernie. They're well aware that the American people have risen. And they are scared. They're doing everything they can to stop it from happening. It's already in full motion. The revolution is happening right now. Everybody, other people that aren't aware, get up, go to work, come home. I meet people like that. They look at me, what the hell are you so freaked out about? I'm like, Bernie Sanders, our country, saving it now. It's what we're doing. So this weekend, not me, us, hashtag everything Bernie Sanders puts out. Do it, grab it, share with it, go to that link. Build your own memes. What we're going to do today is I'm going to spin some tunes. We're going to play some Bernie speeches. I got some material that we've never run before, some material that was submitted to us that we've never had access to. We're going to share some other raw content. We're going to look for your memes, the stuff that you've created around this. Not me, us, hashtag. We're going to talk to some people coming in and out. We're just going to have a fun time for the next 3 hours or so. And then we're going to shut down really briefly and load back up for the event tonight where Scott's going to be streaming from Iowa City. But my goal here is just to inspire, kind of be like the USO, encourage the troops, inspire everybody, or at least make them laugh, have a good time, share with some information with everybody, and encourage the world to help us blow up this hashtag. I said this morning. We are at war, and there's two fronts. Boots on the ground, which is coupled with mainstream media, and then the internet. And we own the internet. The internet is where we can push our information of truth. We really have a hard time with mainstream media. We don't own anything there. Okay? Boots on the ground, we own. So between the internet and boots on the ground, we have this, but that's why we have to put all our effort in those two places. We can't do anything about mainstream media. It's a big, powerful, ugly weapon that they have on their side, a weapon of words that is not true. That is we are fighting a war with words and information, folks, not bombs and missiles. But Scott, for all of my thrill about the caucus, hey, all 85 of you, 207 playbacks. For all of my excitement about that caucus video and how cool it is, and honestly, I will say this, I didn't know anything about a caucus, really. And now that I understand what it is, I get why the establishment doesn't like them. But tell me what happens after the caucus. What are you saying that's not makes it not so great?
I don't want to discourage anybody from participating, but in a caucus, the anti-establishment candidate has to win big, because each step along the way, all you're really doing at the caucus is picking delegates for the county convention. And then at the county convention, they pick delegates for the state convention. And then at the state convention, they pick the national delegates. So by the time it gets all the way up there, everything could change. I worked on Jerry Brown's campaign in Nevada in '92. He won big over Bill Clinton, but Bill Clinton got more delegates out of Nevada in the end. Because a lot of the other, one good thing about this is there's only Martin O'Malley on the other side. There's not a lot of candidates switch to their delegates. Once they get out of the race, those delegates don't have to stick with those candidates.
Right.
So back then there were more candidates that went to Bill Clinton and not to Jerry. So by the end, Bill Clinton had won the state, even though Jerry Brown was still in the race. Even though Jerry Brown beat him by like 15 points on caucus night. So one thing about primaries is that ratio stays from that night. If you get 55% of the vote, you get 55% of the delegates.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I get how it is, but okay, I understand this. And so I'm just going to run this through. Basically what you're saying is that first we do these smaller, all over the place caucuses and people get their delegates, but then it's done again and again. Now, when they do the next one, the next level, county, right? You said it was county? Now, how does that work? Do all the people that just showed up for the smaller ones go flood the next one? How does that work?
Only the ones elected delegates to the county convention.
Okay, so Bernie gets a number of delegates out of these smaller caucuses, and then those delegates show up to the county. And then the same thing happens. Those delegates go to state, right? So they just move on up.
But I remember in Nevada, there was a process for electing the delegates from the county to the state. And it was kind of a backroom meeting where each campaign had representatives. And they would pick the ones that they wanted to go to the next level. And
so are you thinking this is where it gets dirty? This is where they can influence?
I thought it was that way in Nevada, because the person who was the representative for Jerry Brown hadn't really been active in the campaign. He was just someone who was part of the party for a long time, and so he was the one that knew the rules and all that. You got to have someone that knows the rules. Now in Iowa, early on in the campaign, they picked someone who was an expert on the caucus rules they hired. So I think that person would be in the room all the time. So it might not be as bad as Nevada. Maybe Nevada had more of a back room.
I get what you're saying. So that tells me, okay, so here's what I get out of that. Instead of taking this negatively and going, well, guys, the caucus system is good in one way because it creates momentum, and that momentum can carry through, but there's a certain point at which the establishment gets an advantage, because the establishment has this closed door process that happens where they do this negotiating bullshit. At least that's what I'm getting here.
That's the way it was in Nevada. I don't know if it's that way in Iowa. I never followed Iowa past caucus night. But really on caucus night, it is empowering to be with the supporters. And
well, yeah, and that's what I'm counting on. That's what I'm counting on. So more than ever, what we really need to focus on, folks, is Bernie needs to get all the delegates. Right there, when this first caucus happens on Monday, all the Hillary supporters that really weren't Hillary supporters in the first place, they're all going to move over. That's just what when they call out the green and pink, Scott, it's going to be one color at the end. It's just maybe like one or two steadfast. Those are the people that were paid enough money to stay with Hillary. I know. This is my idealistic version of it. But what I'm really trying to say, folks, is that we have to do everything we can to get. As I said this morning, I want to put so many people in these buildings that you can't even fit that many people. You don't even have enough room to separate them out. When they say pink, this corner, green, that corner, blue over there, they're going to be like, sorry, there's absolutely no space to move. The whole room is blue. Whole room is filled with Bernie, and everybody else is outside. That's what they're asking for here. Literally, that's what they're asking for. And what Scott is trying to warn us about is that no matter how far we think we've gotten, we have so much farther to go. So much farther to go. No matter how good we think we've done to this point, we cannot let ourselves stop. We cannot rest. We cannot break. We need to push this all the way, or it's not going to happen. That's what this movement has to be, because there are so many ways, so many places where the establishment can rig the game, where the establishment can insert money, insert their influence, threaten, do whatever they want to do, and win. And that's what we have to beat. And it has to be done with a decided victory that doesn't allow any room for error. And so, Iowa, we are calling on you, because more than ever in any election, what happens in Iowa is really going to set the tone for the rest of the campaign, for the rest of the season. And if it's a blowout, a ridiculous, insane blowout, it is going to have a mass effect on all the undecideds, a mass effect on the O'Malleys, a mass effect on those who start to realize that voting for Hillary Clinton is simply voting for the establishment. That's it. We're really trying to convert Dem Republican voters to establishment Bernie voters. That's the conversion right there. That's what we're trying to do. Scott, is there anything else you want to let us know about what's going on there or what you're doing?
And the bigger the victory, the more tamper-proof it'll be.
Oh, okay, really?
A lot of the super delegates are on Hillary's side now, but if they see their constituents decidedly for Bernie, they're gonna switch.
Seriously?
So super delegates don't have to stay with whoever they first say they're gonna vote for.
So those were the people that I was worried about. Like those were the ones where I thought they're like totally bought and sold. You know, like Hillary's handed them piles of cash, and I'm like, how are we going to convince these people not to be bought and sold? But if you're saying they're not that way, that they really do have the freedom to choose, that's my fear with those guys.
They have the freedom to choose, but it's like in Iowa, Harkin and Losak's the only congressman from Iowa. If they see that Bernie beat Hillary substantially, then there's going to be a lot of pressure on them to switch to Bernie.
What does it mean for them? Here's where I'm getting at, Scott. Hillary's camp can do all of the things that Bernie's camp won't do. All right, so she can offer this and that. She can make secret deals. She can hand them piles of cash. She can have a super PAC, give them a yacht, whatever they want to do. But Bernie's camp has to play above board. So when it comes to a super delegate making that choice, what is it? Let's assume there's no. I'm assuming it's not going to be a choice made on integrity and honor. I just want to know, what is it that the Bernie camp will have to offer at that point that the Hillary camp can't?
Voters. If Hillary had the super delegates before Obama started winning, and then all of a sudden people were saying, wait a minute, and if it's apparent that Bernie's going to be the nominee, the super delegates are going to switch because they want a seat at the table.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at. What is it? It's a seat at the table. It's basically saying what does that mean? What does that mean, a seat at the table?
Well, obvious, Hillary's value to them diminishes if she's not going to win.
Of course.
And so
but that's
you want
what
to
I'm
at least
at.
get on the good side of the person who's going to win.
Okay, so it's getting on the good side, but that's what I'm trying to get at. Like Bernie's not going to be offering these favors, right?
Right.
So this game is changing, and the politicians that are shifting, and the people that are super delegates, they're not politicians, right? They're what, workers? They're just people.
No, they're politicians.
They are
mostly.
politicians. Okay.
Every member of Congress is a super delegate.
Okay, thank you. Forgive my ignorance. Okay, so super delegates are mostly politicians.
Yeah.
Okay, well then that explains it all. that's I was trying to figure out what is it for them, right? Are they a doctor or a lawyer, somebody of affluence? What makes them want to be in the game if it's not about the bribes, if it's not about the corporate ties that it's about now, right? When we change that game.
It's party officials and elected.
Okay. It really boils down to want to keep your job, really.
Yeah.
What it boils down to, not like he's going to go running through firing, but if you don't believe in the ideals, if you don't believe in Bernie Sanders, then what does it matter anyway? You shouldn't be there. But that's good to know. That's a lot of information. I'm going to check on chat here because I notice a lot of people talking, and I want to see what's going on. Yes, I saw that. How weird that came through. Yes, the hashtag is not me, us. I'll put that up. It's trending #1. That's beautiful. We'll look at that. That John Adams series I've wanted to watch several times, actually, Jeanette. I haven't got to it. I think it came out a couple years ago. And Brenda Brown, I saw the message from Blue America, and I'm not sure it's the same Blue America, because the Blue America that I'm thinking of is a guy named Neil, who I knew, who was one of the first to help volunteer for us. And so either way, whoever he is, whoever this other Blue America guy is, if he wants, it's great. He did connect, and I will get in touch with him as soon as I can. Oh, Jeff Merkley is a delegate. Cool. Yes, we're all learning here. I have learned more about politics and how it functions in an election, so how it functions in general. Since I started this, I think most Americans have gotten a civics lesson, a how does your freaking country work lesson in the last 6 months. We've all gotten better than we ever got out of public school, right? Or any school. For me, when you're involved with it, when you're immersed in it, when you find out that this is how you have to save your planet and your country, you kind of go, oh shit, I better figure out how this stuff works. It's amazing. Somebody tells you have an asteroid flinging at your planet. I better figure out how to stop that. This year, we all woke up and found out the establishment government had been running Grimstone. We woke up to that fact. It's been amazing. So anyway, I just wanted to talk to you guys about that. The Blue America PAC that endorses progressive candidates. Oh, really? Well, but that's still confusing, because that's what Neil says I just need to find out if it's connected with Neil or not. And if it's a separate thing, that's great. Because the one I'm talking about makes these parodies. I'm going to run one of the parodies, actually. But before we do that, let's remind everybody what we're here to do. We are here to do this, folks. We are here to retweet everything that comes out of Bernie Sanders' account, pay attention to Hector's account and Aiden's account, and hashtag not me, us. And this is a call to the world today. Help us. Help us show Iowa. Help us show the establishment. We are done with the establishment shit. Scott, where are you, man? You're like in somewhere noisy.
Yeah, I should probably mute one.
Just curious.
It's a coffee shop.
Oh, that's right. That's right. It's a coffee shop. It's green. It actually looks like you're on some kind of it reminds me of a Seattle ferry. I don't know why. It just looks like a Seattle ferry in the background. But that's just me. Anyway, let's take a look at some quotes here. Here's let's go down here. Sorry, guys. Take 1 second here. We'll play a tune in a second, but what I'm looking for is all of the overlays that I built in that I'm not running through here. Here we go. Let's have some of these. I'm going to be running these all day, guys. This is Emerald Sky Queen. I did a capture of this earlier. He's the first candidate in decades that truly represents the interests of the people. He is not in it for profit or personal gain. He is not in it for corporate interest. He is the embodiment of real American values, as demonstrated in polls on the issues we, the people, care about across all political affiliations. And he has the grit and determination to fight for us, the 99. Emerald Sky Queen. Send me those at we.bernie2016.tv. I will be taking snapshots and blasting those out to Twitter with the hashtag #NotMeUs. This is your way to tell us why you're endorsing Bernie Sanders. See, it's got another one here. Michelle is a Miss Trendy Bloom. I feel inspired by his messages, excited about his plans for our country, and optimistic that with the support of the political revolution, we can all finally see a bright future for America. He is consistent and brave, standing up for what he believes in, even when it's not popular. He's honest and trustworthy. He would truly be a transformative president. Exactly. I agree. That is what we are looking for. Transformative, not the same. Craig from Tacoma, Washington. I'm for Bernie because I want to live in a country where we care about and take care of each other. Not me, us. Together. We the people. That's very simple, very short. I love that, Craig. Sums it up perfectly what we're doing here. This is a war of information to get the truth out, to inform the electorate and change our country. I'm for Bernie because I want to live in a country where we care about and take care of each other. Not go to war with each other. Not sell weapons to both sides. Not ruin our environment for greed. ExxonMobil, I don't know why we haven't arrested those CEOs, why we haven't liquidated the company. I don't want to live in an America like that anymore. None of us do. We're ready to change. Today, today is our D-Day. We just landed Omaha Beach. We are attacking the establishment with the hashtag not me, us. That's what it's about. It's about us, all of us around the world. Because if we don't put Bernie Sanders in office, folks, we are going to see another 4 years. We're not going to see another 4 years of establishment. You're going to see America fall into a civil war is what you're going to see. You will see this country fall into a civil war, a turmoil, because I guarantee you, now that Bernie has inspired the people to rise, we will not stand for an establishment politician. I will not accept an establishment politician as my president. Nope, not going to happen because they do not represent the people. The current Congress does not represent the people. And we are going to fix that. Hopefully with words, not with weapons of destruction, with words of truth. That is what intelligent beings use to fight wars. I love swapping over really quick. And the next thing I see is getting high is good. I love my marijuana. Draka, me too. I'm a big marijuana advocate. I've got epilepsy. I've had epilepsy most of my life, well, all my life. Didn't realize what it was doing to me. Used to take drugs like Dilantin, Tegretol, and I hated them. Bad for the gums, liver. And marijuana has been my savior for a number of reasons. And it's disgusting, the lies that our country has perpetrated for greed, for profit, to protect the tobacco industry of all disgusting industries, to protect the booze industry. Booze and tobacco, two drugs, far worse than marijuana, far worse. But they were money makers. So, of course, our country chose profit over people. This is back in the early 1900s, actually. And that misinformation has been spread for 100 years. I went into my first legal marijuana store with the wife a couple weeks ago, and we felt like guilty kids walking in there, and I was pissed. I'm like, this is indoctrination. This is what it's like to have grown up in the just say no era, where it was so beaten into my head that this stuff was bad and evil and that I was going to get in trouble for it. I've been smoking it all my life. I grow it now. But I walk into that store and it doesn't matter. I don't go in there like I'm going into Safeway, like I'm going to go get some coffee and, whatever. I walk in and I'm like, oh my God, is this okay? And I shouldn't feel that way. I shouldn't feel like a criminal. That's what misinformation does. That's how evil misinformation is. So every time mainstream media says something like, they pushed it out today, Politico has a spin on or a piece on Bernie Sanders. What is it? It's Bernie Sanders' deficit in foreign policy. I mean, what the fuck? It's deficit. He was the only ones. Let's talk about deficit in foreign policy. He didn't need to do a lot of thinking. He was the only one that said no to 10 years of fucking war for oil. I don't need any more than that. He's got my vote for foreign policy. Works for me, folks. He didn't make any backdoor deals with other countries. He didn't lie about weapons. What do you need for foreign policy? You know what you need for foreign policy? We've had enough. We're screwing with you. We're apologizing. We need to take care of our country. We're going to come back here. We got a lot of work to do. And we apologize for selling you so many weapons. We apologize for invading your countries so that we could take your resources and doing it under the guise of democracy and freedom. We apologize. That's what I want Bernie to do when he starts talking about foreign policy when he gets in office. Shit, guys, sorry. We're going to protect our nation. We're going to rebuild it. We're going to make reparations to a whole bunch of people. We're going to focus on things that matter. And foreign policy-wise, we're going to lay low a bit because right now we've got a fucked up nation to fix. That's why foreign policy is on the lowest of the low in terms of what American people give a shit about right now. You know who gives a shit about foreign policy? The military-industrial complex. The people making money off war and the death of our children. They're the only people that give a shit about foreign policy in this country. We need to deal with American policy. That's what I care about. We the people policy. 99's policy. That's what I care about. What else you say? Yeah, it totally does. Totally gives you the wrong rip trickle down. I don't know what's going on with the Metacard growers, Brenda. I don't. I really don't. I have no idea. That whole thing, you realize that because the federal government, we're talking about marijuana real quick, because the federal government doesn't, the bank industry won't take the money. The bank industry has no problem taking money from coke dealers in South America, has no problem hiding mafia money, has no problem hiding money from people who have caused atrocities around the world. They'll take their cash. But they won't take pot money. They won't take cannabis growers' money because the federal government won't. But the federal government has no problem working deals with coke dealers. Our DEA, our CIA, they run the drugs, people. They are the drugs. We found out about this in the late 80s. That was Reagan. We can watch that again, Killer Mike. Our government runs drugs. Our government makes monies off drugs. They've been doing this for a long, long, long time. But for some reason, the banking industry won't take the money from this because there's federal law. That's what's so hypocritical. There's federal law, but at the same time, we're working deals so that cocaine can flow nicely between borders. It's just the most bullshit ever. It's the most bullshit ever. Back to the point, just reading all this stuff. We can get on that whole thing. That really makes me, I'm really mad about that. That's something I want Bernie to fix. But that's not what we're dealing with today. Today we're talking about Iowa. Today we're talking about Caucus. Right? And I'm trying to get my shit together here to go over a few things. Let's look at some of the information that was provided this morning. Remember, everybody. Remember. Here we go. Got it over here. Sorry. Real quick. This is the point today. Hashtag not me, us. Okay. Go to the website. Bernie.to. Not me, us. This is, we want you to take Bernie Sanders tweets and we want you to retweet them and hashtag them with not me, us. Create stuff. We're going to look at stuff that you guys have put up today. What else we got? I think we got a few more. We endorse. Here's another one right here. Robin Morris. Thank you for posting, Robin. This is an establishment. Now, at this critical time, just before the Iowa caucuses, watch the attacks multiply. There is an establishment. Sorry, Robin, started wrong. Watch the attacks multiply. Absolutely. It's going to get way, way worse. All those Democrats piling on against Bernie, add the repubs, corporate media, big pharma, AG, Wall Street, the 1%, they are there. Time for change. Robin's not kidding. This is going to get worse. This is going to get heavier, dirtier. Who knows what they are going to use? They are going to pull out every weapon in their arsenal, and we have to be ready for it. What's up, Scott?
You know, there's a Republican super PAC that has an ad out against Bernie.
But it's good.
But I think it's helping him more than hurting him.
We ran it the other day.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We did. No, it was I ran
every
it.
reason Democrats would vote for him is what they were saying.
I love it because I think everybody is in here. Have you guys seen that? Let us know if you've seen that. How do we get plugged into Help Bernie TV? Hannah, you send me an email at info.bernie2016.tv and we'll go from there. That's how you help us out. Info.bernie2016.tv. But what Scott's talking about is this video. I don't know what PAC it was. You know what PAC it was?
I don't remember.
I'll see if I can find it. We'll run it later, guys. But it's got this liberal flashing, like bing, bing. It's kind of like an old school thing. And Bernie Sanders is going to make college free, and they say it in this, like threatening way, and everybody's like, okay.
And it ends that he's going to tax the rich.
Yeah.
And everything else. Like, that's a great thing. The ad doesn't say he's just going to raise taxes. Like,
right,
would hurt him.
Well, then it doesn't define what rich means. We're going to tax the rich. Most of the people watching that are going to go, oh, whatever. I mean, like you said, thank you, Super PAC. You probably confused the hell out of your people, but yeah. it's oh, and I got it. We're gonna cover this, but Scott, can you explain? Did you see the smear that was pushed out? I want to say it was the New York Times who just recently said that they were all paid off for Hillary, but the executive board. But did you see the smear about Bernie's? I don't know what it was on. It said that Bernie's money, and it referenced the National Nurses United, was actually PAC money. That Bernie's money was not individual donations. He was lying. It was actually PAC money. And they had this bullshit way to explain that through National Nurses United. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I don't think that National Nurses United PAC's a super PAC. Progressive Democrats of America has a PAC too that's doing political work for Bernie, but I don't think it falls. I think they're just set up a 501c4, not whatever so that they can do political work. I'm not sure.
Okay.
If they set up a super PAC or not.
I see.
I remember as soon as Bernie announced that he was running, communications with PDA just evaporated. He couldn't communicate with them anymore. And
because they are a super PAC, correct?
I don't think it's I think it's a 501c4, but it's still, you can't coordinate with any PACs. But there were PACs before there were super PACs, so I'm not sure whether the distinction, I'm not sure where the distinction is.
Okay, but it sounds to so I didn't even think about this. I forgot that there were PACs and then super PACs, right? So that's the National Nurses United is probably a PAC, and this guy is trying to relate those two, but they're different. They're very different. The super PAC and a PAC, correct?
Yeah, I think probably donations are not secret to a PAC.
Right.
I'm not positive.
Right.
Yet.
Right. Yeah. Imagine that. That helps a lot. That's the difference. But here's the thing, guys. That's exactly. If you look at where the money came from, National Nurses United, it's donated by the nurses, for God's sakes. I mean, here's the thing that gets me insane is that the mainstream media can say it, but we all know it. 3 million individual donations. Yeah, that's super PACs or PACs. Come on.
That's always the bet. The Republicans are always saying, well, the unions are spending so much money on the Democratic candidates, so that justifies business spending money for the Republicans.
The unions represent people, businesses don't. Although Citizens United, of course, renders that different, but we will change that. We will change that. I'm gonna run. This is a 6.5 minute piece here, folks. I'm gonna run this and take a minute to take a breath. This is, I'm going to run it again, Magnum, because I love this, but I want to run it now. I want everybody to realize just where Bernie's at. This is Feel the Burn 9. The sandstorm cometh. Just going to run it to get a little bit inspired here. Damn it, we are taking over. Well, we're just going to put our man in office. That's what's happening, folks. So here we go. How's that black screen?
He's a self-described democratic socialist from Vermont who got his political start as the mayor of Burlington. A long shot then, a bigger long shot now. He's an unlikely presidential candidate taking on the biggest frontrunner the Democratic Party has ever seen.
One poll shows him down 60 points.
I don't know that Bernie Sanders can beat Hillary Clinton.
You know, you almost have to feel sorry for Bernie.
You may not have any chance.
That's all going to disappear by the time we get to Iowa. This Bernie mania thing could burn out.
She is ahead, George, by a long shot.
They don't see Bernie Sanders as a real threat.
Bernie, stop, spitting.
He's not going to be the nominee.
Major structural problems with Bernie Sanders.
Clinton crushes him in national polls by more than 40 points.
Hillary probably will inevitably be the nominee.
Even Democrats admit he may not be their best shot at the White House.
He is not going to be the nominee.
Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders may be gaining a little bit of momentum as he seeks to challenge Hillary Clinton.
His views may be gaining traction.
Look at Bernie Sanders' rise, tripling his support.
The hottest thing in American politics right now is a socialist.
That is a rocket ship.
I don't think we've seen more enthusiasm for any candidate.
Sanders 35.
Senator Bernie Sanders drew a monster crowd.
3,000 in Minneapolis, 5,000 in Burlington.
We know what Bernie Sanders wants, and a lot of the Democratic Party, let's be honest, they want it too.
This morning, Clinton is feeling the burn.
Throwing a scare into Hillary Clinton's camp.
Bernie momentum drawing larger crowds than every candidate running.
Possibly as many as 10,000 people. It is real.
We're worried about him, sure.
It was another full house for Senator Bernie Sanders.
He could win Iowa. He could win New Hampshire.
He's chipping away at
a statistical tie.
Got 28,000 people in Portland.
Sanders is a summer sensation.
Roughly 70,000 people lined up.
Here in Iowa, Bernie Sanders was greeted like a rock star.
The crowd is really swelled. These people are very excited. It's kind of like Woodstock. Clinton dropping below 50%.
Clinton's lead now down to single digits.
Hillary Clinton has lost a third of her supporters.
Sanders has nearly doubled his support.
He has an electable agenda.
Bernie Sanders beating Clinton in New Hampshire.
Sanders gaining 15 points.
Once thought to be the longest of long shots with a commanding lead.
Bernie Sanders could get elected president.
Hillary Clinton is feeling the burn. Checkmaited by Democratic Socialist Senator Bernie Sanders on fundraising.
It was a record-breaking weekend for Bernie Sanders.
Who's going to win the Iowa caucus? Bernie.
Bernie.
Who do you think the Democratic nominee will be?
Sanders.
What Bernie Sanders is running against is literally the power structure.
Bernie Sanders getting his first endorsement from a member of Congress, Raul Grijalva.
He just raised $26 million.
He has gotten 1 million individual donations, and he reached that much earlier than Barack Obama did. Congressman Keith Ellison says he will support Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders.
No one could predict the huge crowds and the surge of popularity for Bernie Sanders, a man who's been around the block fighting for poor and working class Americans.
Who won the debate?
Bernie Sanders!
Foreign policy, 59%.
Bernie Sanders won this debate.
Economic issues, Sanders at a whopping 72%.
Bernie Sanders won the debate tonight.
75%. Huge margin.
He's got the support, the kind of enthusiasm that often counts on caucus night. Sanders is poised to reach another major benchmark. It has now collected more than 2 million contributions, and Sanders has picked up his biggest labor endorsement to date. From the 700,000-member Communications Workers of America, the million-member progressive group Democracy for America announced that it, too, was throwing its support behind the Democratic challenger.
62% of Democrats now say they could see themselves supporting him.
A mock election that hasn't been wrong in 40 years declares Bernie Sanders will be our next president.
He got more
contributions, individual donors, than anybody in American history.
Bernie Sanders is nipping at Hillary Clinton's heels.
Sanders has the heart of the grassroots.
Sanders does better against the Republicans than Clinton.
Clinton leads Donald Trump by 8 points, but Sanders leads him by 13. In New Hampshire, Clinton is ahead of Trump by 1 point, but Sanders tops him by 19.
Breaking news right now, we've got a race, folks. Ted Cruz leads Clinton in both states, while Sanders still beats the Texas senator. Bernie Sanders with his biggest lead yet.
Hillary Clinton dancing on Ellen, seemingly without a care in the world.
Bernie Sanders is igniting a flame of voter support.
There's no doubt that Bernie Sanders has built something real.
He's passed her just down Iowa.
Daniel, I can't get over your map. Bernie Sanders was purple and the whole country was purple.
Make no mistake, he has the momentum right now.
Compared to where he was just a few months ago, I mean, clearly people are feeling the burn.
Sanders traveled to Birmingham, Alabama, where he addressed an overflow crowd of about 7,000.
That's where he's weak?
This is incredible.
I would hate to see where Bernie Sanders is strong if I win the Clinton campaign.
The momentum continues for Senator Bernie Sanders.
Check out this poll, the CNN MUR poll. Bernie Sanders up 27 points.
With 13 days to go, it's Hillary Clinton's nightmare scenario.
There is no way to describe these new New Hampshire numbers other than stunning.
People that think that Bernie Sanders is like the easier target right now,
Oh, no.
do not sense what 2016 is all about.
This is called inevitability coming to bite you in the butt.
When we come together as a nation, when we say enough is enough, when we stand together, there is nothing we cannot accomplish.
You guys can't hear me. Sorry about that. There you go. Too many knobs to turn. You could probably hear Scott, though. That's Field of Burn 9, The Sandstorm Cometh. And that was badass. Magnum DB, yeah, I saw that come through. We're playing it again. I do have the side eye. I saw somebody ask about that. Yeah, 23,000 in St. Paul. I'm just reading some of your comments on that. I love watching you guys comment as we play those videos and what you have to say. Yes, yes. It makes me... does the same for me, folks. This is what keeps me going. There's no way that I could do this every day like I'm doing it without inspiration from you guys, without inspiration from Bernie, without these videos. It's all of the media that blows my mind. It's so amazing. You guys, I'd be hard pressed to come up with material if I didn't have all of this beautiful crowdsourced material from the 99%. Yeah, we could cover stories but it's the memes, it's the music, it's the media. It's so incredible. This is the difference. This is the complete difference between Hillary's campaign and anybody else's campaign and Bernie's campaign. That's the difference. Yeah, he's awesome. Video is awesome. I saw somebody earlier say it's too long for commercial TV, and that's exactly right. See, we're not fighting the commercial TV war. The commercial TV war, and yeah, the sun's way out. Commercial TV war is being fought by the campaign proper, and they put out those beautiful proper ads, like the America ad that was incredible and did its job. We use all the media created by you guys, and it can be as long as we damn well please and say what we damn well please. We've got no restrictions. As long as we play by the rules that the campaign sets for us, which is simply be yourselves, say what you want to say, help us out. And Bernie's kind of a golden rule guy. Do unto others. You know, I do my best. We do our best here not to be mean, not to, if we're going to say something about a candidate, we're doing it because we're pointing out a truth. And if that truth is ugly, not our problem. It's not name calling. It's pointing out a truth. Like when they call Bernie Sanders calling Donald Trump a pathological liar. That is not an insult. That is the truth. and then to provide evidence of such, which Bernie did. There's a difference between that and claiming Bernie Sanders' money comes from super PACs and that he's a liar. Right? There's a big difference between making a statement that's not true and saying, no, Donald Trump made these statements. Those are on record, recorded by your MSM. We know you've got footage of that. You've run every piece of Donald Trump there is ever because it gives you ratings. So when Donald Trump says something and we capture it and I say, we know that's not true. Everybody in the world knows that's not true. And I call Donald Trump a pathological liar. I am not insulting him. I am simply stating the truth. There is a big difference, journalists, MSM journalists, establishment, you're just establishment puppets that say what they want you to say. But that field of burn, that is exactly the momentum that the corporate media, the establishment media does not want the rest of the world to know. They do not want the people that are sitting at homes in their lazy boy, eating their TV dinner, indoctrinated by their channel. That is what they don't want them to see, which is why I bought my dad a smart TV so that he could hopefully access YouTube and know what the hell's going on. And I'm not suggesting everybody get their parents who's my age a smart TV, but it's a good way to help. Yes. March for Bernie Sanders. I'm looking at this. Facts are not attacks. That's a nice hashtag, Brenda Brown. They're not. They're just facts. It's all we're talking about. Let's see what's being posted here on the hashtag not me us. There's all sorts of action going on here. Here is this is from Bernie Sanders right here, and that's a nice meme right there. That's a piece of art that's actually available on the website, available on that link that they're pushing out. And that will, and that's everywhere. You'll see that link in this if you just follow that hashtag. And you can take these, put your own statements on them. I'd love to find them. There's that one there. If we stand together, if we build a political revolution, there is no limit to what we can accomplish, Bernie Sanders says. What else do we have here? Here's another one. When we stand together, we will always win. When men and women stand together for justice, we win. When Black, white, and Hispanic people stand together for justice, we win. When straight and gay people stand together for justice, we win. When young and old stand together for justice, we win. When working families stand together, we win. I think there's a point here. It's about togetherness and winning. Look at this one here. 1974. So interesting. I'm going to have to keep that. There's one of the gentlemen that travels around with the ground force there for Bernie. His name is Arun Chaudhry, and it kind of looks like Bernie 1974. I'm going to have to mention that to Arun. Yeah, I see Scott laughing. He'll never talk to me again after that, huh? Maybe he already knows. Arun also sits in the background, and he has a pretty good Bernie impersonation. We heard him the other day on a sound check going, oligarchy. It was very funny. But look at this. Bernie, 1974. It is not right or necessary that senior citizens, after a lifetime of hard work, should be worrying about where they are going to get the money to buy food to keep them alive this winter. That's 1974. So apparently in 1974, this was an issue. 1988, in our nation today, we have an extreme disparity between the rich and the poor, that elections are bought and sold and controlled by people who have huge sums of money. This is 1988, folks. I was 18. I was 18 years old, and I had no idea that our government was this bought and sold and controlled. Bernie did. 2003, the middle class is shrinking. We have the greatest gap between the rich and the poor of any industrialized nation. Bernie is the broken record, folks. I mean, there isn't another candidate that has ever had this kind of a record. He's impenetrable. Whatever they try to throw at him, utter bullshit that they throw at him, it doesn't work. And the reason it'll never work is because we now trust Bernie Sanders. He is the only candidate that I have ever trusted. He is the only candidate that I truly believe every word that comes out of that man's mouth, because it doesn't seem rehearsed. It's not a teleprompter. It's not a script he went over and over and over again. I mean, yeah, he's got his stump speech down. Don't get me wrong. Okay. I've probably got his stump speech down by now. If you asked me to go out there and do Bernie's stump speech between me and Scott and probably all of you out there, we could all get together and do like a group Bernie stump speech. But that's what's beautiful about it. That's what's beautiful. That's the proof right there that this man, everywhere he goes, he has an answer. He speaks the truth. There's no bullshit. There's no give me a minute while they make sure what I'm going to tell you isn't going to come back and bite me in the ass for something else I said last year, like Hillary, about what caucuses are for and the dangers of the extremists in the caucus. I think what you're worried about is that you have no extremists on your end. The Hillary campaign is asleep at the wheel because most of the people have realized that they don't want the establishment anymore. I should accept calls on Skype or something. I would love to do that, and usually we have a lot of that going on. This is not a typical broadcast. I just want to make that clear. T. Spinozzi. We do something that's called engagement broadcasting when I have a full crew. I don't have a full crew here. If you guys could point out the some of our older links to T. Spinozzi, that would be great. We do try to make it a lot more interesting than this. What we do is engagement broadcasting. We'll show overlays. We're going to show your quotes and your statements. I usually have other people in here. Scott's going to be reporting from Iowa City. But this whole thing I just decided to do today, this morning, all of a sudden, because we're in this big Iowa caucus push. They said, you know what? Let's just broadcast all day. We'll run videos. We'll run your favorite clips. Put some stuff in. I'm watching the chat. But please, everybody who's been with us and knows what this is, let everybody else know in chat that is new to this experience that this is not what we normally do. It's much better than this normally. All right, normally we're engaging with you in chat. I don't even think we have anybody from the production team in chat. We have some people that are in our Slack. But yeah, thank you, Robin. I know it's all good. I'm making up excuses for myself. Whatever. All right, let's take a look at some... see if we have any more. Robin, you posted again? Or did I not get the full thing? Here, the other piece of Robin. I endorse Bernie because no matter what you may think cannot be done, if our national priorities were rearranged to benefit our most vulnerable citizens, we would create not only political, but a social and spiritual revolution. It is certainly worth a try. To me, it's not just about social or spiritual or political. To me, it's just common sense, Robin. When everybody has their basic needs met, you alleviate a good portion of the crap and issues. It's not handouts. It's not going to destroy our society because now everybody's going to be lazy. We're talking about meeting basic needs: food, shelter, warmth, clothing, healthcare. These are basic rights of any advanced civilization. And that's really what it comes down to. Do we want to call ourselves an advanced civilization, or do we want to fall back to knuckle-dragging Neanderthal days because we're too small-minded to think we can't achieve that next level of civilization? That's where we're at, folks. It's, can we evolve to the next level of civilization? The people are ready, but the establishment is too happy with how it is. That's the difference. Sadly, it's where we're at. It's taken us a long time for the people to get this. Wait a minute, we've got all this technology, we've got all this knowledge, we know what the fuck's going on. Why aren't we working together to make this a better place? Oh, the establishment. That's what's going on. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. What else do we have here? Let's endorse Bernie, Robin Morris. We showed Craig's. I don't think I have anybody in chat. I know I don't have anybody in there dropping those in. Do you guys have any requests for songs, videos? You drop them in the chat, and I will run them. I'm going to look for something else to play right here. But I want to remind everybody what we're doing. Where's that main screen? Let's remind everybody what we're doing here. There we go. Oh, you know, I never did read this stuff. Just to recap, I am here today for the next 2 hours. And then we're going to shut down really quick, and then we're going to start back up with the event with Scott in Iowa City. But I'm just going to broadcast for the next 2 hours to tell you guys what's going on, to remind you that today we are focused on the hashtag not me, us. Not me, us. Blast everything with that hashtag. Follow the Bernie Sanders account. Retweet everything he has to say. We're showing a worldwide push that we want Bernie Sanders. This is for the Iowa caucus. And there's a ton of stuff going on in Iowa. This was pushed out on the 29th yesterday, late by Michael Briggs. And I just want to read some of these numbers. You skip down to about the third or fourth paragraph and you get to the awesome stuff here. It says, the crowds on Saturday pushed to 62,866, the total turnout at Sanders rallies in town meetings in Iowa since his bid for the White House officially began last April 30th. That's incredible. That's ridiculous. I've never heard that kind of a number stated in politics. And this one is even more incredible. Across the United States, from the Trailblazers Arena in Portland, Oregon, where 28,000 people showed up, to the small house parties in New Hampshire that close to Janine's, which Janine had one like 300 people at her house party. More than 507,100 people, more than 500,000 people, folks, have been packed into events hosted by the Sanders campaign. We are running a simple, straightforward grassroots campaign. We are discussing the major issues facing our country and hearing what Iowans have to say. I mean, that's it. Running a simple campaign. There's no bullshit. There's no tricks. There's no magic neato things. There's no negativity. They haven't written a negative ad. They won't do a negative ad. 500,000 people. And the season just started. That's why corporate media is shitting their pants. That's why Hillary's camp is going, fuck. That's why the establishment is going, we have to decide whether we're going to pull out the big weapons. We're going to pull out the big weapons because it's going to get dirty, dirty, dirty if we do. They're going to start wanting to protect their own because we're taking back the country from them. Not me, us, folks. Take a look at this update. This was the update of just some of the stuff that's going on. U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders' presidential campaign will host a number of celebrated activists, actors, musicians, and elected officials on the campaign trail in the final days before the Iowa caucus. There's a giant list of people there. This is happening all day, folks. Foster the People started this morning. Senator Nina Turner's around. Raul Gribalda or Balva. I've been trying to get that name, and I heard... unfortunately, it was Chris Cuomo who says it really, really good in this one clip. I want to say it like him. Congressman Keith Ellison, Chuy Garcia, Ben Winkler of Move On, Jim Dean. It's Jim Dean. Everybody this morning, we were trying to figure out which one. And Charles Chamberlain, who we've had on our show, that was deleted by YouTube. But I've got a copy of it somewhere. YouTube deleted a lot of our content, folks. That's another way that the establishment is fighting us. They delete our content. It's a dirty trick. They put it under Terms of Service 4, Section H, then just wipe it out because they can. Go here and tell us why you endorse Bernie. Tell us what you think. Why do you endorse Bernie? we.bernie2016.tv. And I'll put it up on screen. We'll do screen grabs. We'll push them out when we get to the live show later. That's our job here, is to push out tons of media. When we get going for the live event, Sean and I, as Bernie's speaking, as we have our full crew here later on, what'll happen is we will do a whole bunch of screen grabs of all the media coming through, all of the statements you have to say, and the full overlays in the lower third. And we're going to blast those out to social media. You know, we do anywhere between 50,000 and 100,000 tweet impressions a day about Bernie Sanders when we're blasting on our team. And that's our goal, is to push as much media as we can on Twitter, which is kind of like the main telegraph of information. And then we need your guys' help to spread it around. We need your guys' help to push that hashtag. I think right now, the hashtag is trending #1. Yep. Not me, us. Right now, it's showing 57,500 tweets, and it is at the top of Twitter. The Voice UK is up there. That's nice. Denver Coliseum. Something going down in Denver, guys? That's cool. Oh, no, not cool. Some shootings in Denver. But this is what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. We're at the top. We've got that trending. Okay, not me, us. We need to keep that trending all weekend, because what that does for Bernie Sanders is put his media with that hashtag at the top of things. And what corporate media will do, folks, what corporate media will do is they're going to, and here, I'm going to push this up here because I want you to help me with this. What corporate media does constantly with Twitter and other places is they'll trend something else. Like they trended Bernie Sanders, but it's because they pushed out there's a Slam article on him. Bernie's foreign policy deficit. Bernie's this, Bernie's that, and it's so they'll put him up there in trending some other way, but they'll do it with a bad article. And don't think that this isn't rigged. Don't think that the algorithms aren't rigged. It's done SEO for a long time. Trust me, there are ways that these things can be manipulated, but or they just time. When are we going to push this article out? Oh, look, Bernie's trending here. Time to release this article. They have these bombs. This information wars. Oh, it's time to slam Bernie again. It's time to push out something that is going to take away from this trend. So right now we've got not me, us. It won't be long before something else will trend that is negative to Bernie. I promise you that. This is how it works. We've got Dubuque up here. I want to just see if anything's trending for that. It's bad. All right. What do you have to say, Scott?
Yeah, well, the only thing that was Hillary, maybe Dubuque is now too, but it was Ames earlier, but she needed the Ted Cruz people and her were both using Ames.
Oh,
so it was a combination of both of them.
I see Ames trending now. I see it. Yeah.
That's both Ted Cruz was in Ames and Hillary was in Ames. So they were both using hashtag Ames.
I see that. And Fox is covering her trend, her campaign in Fox Live. You can get Hillary in Ames, and Ted Cruz is doing whatever he does somewhere else.
Also in Ames somewhere.
Yeah. So that's what's going on for the trend. But yeah, not me, us is still top of the list there. And but yeah, that's what's going to happen. So Ames, but see right now there's no negative, folks. Not me, us is trending. It's great. There's lots of happiness going on there. And you've got Hillary and Cruz sharing a hashtag, which is or sharing a trend. But I guarantee you something, they're going to drop another bomb. They'll drop another salvo. It'll be an article. It'll be a video. It'll be something. Right? Something about Bernie. This is how this war works. And then when we see that, we need to fight back. We need to fight back with more positive media and make sure that our trend stays at the top. This is literally a war of ranking on the web in real-time trend for social media push. That's an eyeballs on the message, because you never know when somebody is going to see that message and it's going to be the defining factor for them. We're looking at undecideds. We're looking at people with a lot of passion, a lot of what's going on right now in Iowa and other places.
I just heard someone say that there are people lined up already at the concert event outside the field house.
Oh, that's awesome.
I would have to be outside a while, so I'm going to wait another hour before I go out there.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I don't have any kind of customized settings on my Twitter. It's just the raw Bernie 2016 TV Twitter account. So whatever shows up there, Just let everybody know. 59,000 tweets, not me, us. That's beautiful. Category 5 sandstorm is on the way. Yes. That is the other different thing. And that's what makes this so unique. That we're not using bots. Not using bots on Twitter. We're not using bots on YouTube, even though they think we are. It's just this is the power of the people. What's never been seen before is the power of people in the digital world. We've seen the power of the people organized on the ground, but we've never seen the power of people organized on the internet like this. Not like this. This is the largest organization of people on the internet ever. It is massive. That's something mainstream media doesn't understand. Is they said, well, and this was a Salon article that still has me pissed off, where he's saying that the people don't get it. They may be able to get Bernie Sanders in office, but they're just not going to be capable of that long, this guy calls it drudgery, the drudgery of democracy. Calls our democracy the process of us in our impassioned effort to remove corrupt politicians from their seats and replace them with Bernie-crats, people that actually give a shit. This guy said, it's drudgery, and you're not going to last. You're not going to make it 99. You don't have the stamina. You don't have the guts. You don't have the ability. You're going to fail. Bernie's going to get into office, and the same thing that happened to Obama going to happen to Bernie. They're going to chop off them balls, make him inept. He's going to become corrupted. He'll take bribes. That's what this guy is saying. It's basically putting out, I hope he's actually a burner, and he's putting it out as a dare. Because fuck you, guy from Salon. We're well aware that this is going to be a long haul. We're well aware that every single Bernie-crat that is for Bernie needs our help. And they will get the full global support of the 99 to make sure we put them in office. We all know that that is what we have to do, right? And that this is just D-Day. Today, folks, we landed on the beachhead. We are here. Not me, us. We're pounding the shit out of that hashtag. We're retweeting everything from Bernie Sanders' account. I need a global effort from everybody today. All of the memes, everything you can think of. Because once we annihilate Iowa's caucus, once we show that Bernie Sanders owns that ground, that we own that ground, belongs to us, the people, that will be the catalyst for the rest of that's going to carry us. That is what we need. We need to ride that wave of, oh shit, coming out of corporate media. They're almost there. They're almost there. In Iowa, that's what they're waiting. They're bracing. Brace yourselves. Bernie in Iowa is coming, because that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. Scott, you have anything you want to expound on that? I see you over there listening to me rant.
Yeah. One of the things that I keep hearing is that first-time caucus goers, mostly young people, don't usually show up. But with Bernie's campaign, it's not just young people. It's a lot of people who are first-time caucus goers because they didn't believe in the system before. They're not just young people. There's people that, a lot of people that were in the Green Party have registered Democrat to caucus. And so there is going to be a lot of people that they wouldn't have changed their registration and gotten involved in the campaign if they weren't going to show up tomorrow night.
Exactly. And you just brought up a big thing. Of course, I don't have that article in front of me, but Ralph Nader. We talked about it this morning. Ralph Nader, Green Party guy, right?
Yep.
Right. And Jill Stein is still running, correct?
Yeah.
And you would think that Ralph would be backing her, but I don't think that's the case. I mean, is that HuffPost blog that he wrote, is that an endorsement for Bernie Sanders?
I didn't see it, so.
Oh, it's we talked about it this morning. I'll have to pull it up in the rundown, but he basically sure sounds like he's endorsing Bernie Sanders, because he basically helps explain why Bernie didn't run as independent, and then says, it's okay, Bernie, we understand. You're facing the establishment. You got to deal with it, you know?
Right.
Okay. So it seems to me like Nader's saying, look, we all have to band together here, and maybe Jill real soon is going to do that, or maybe she's just going to hang on to be the alternate if we have to, go that way. I don't know, but how do you think that would affect that? If that's an official endorsement for Ralph, I'll pull up the article a sec. How do you think that will affect that? What would happen there?
I think that she would definitely stay in the race, because a lot of the ballot access that the Greens have depend on them getting a certain percent of the vote in the states. So I wouldn't see her dropping out. And
what if Green Party shows? So you're telling me that if the Green Party people show up, are they gonna go with Jill, or is this where Bernie has an opportunity to shift them?
A lot of them are caucusing for Bernie.
Oh.
Or going primaries for Bernie. And a lot of them say in the general election they might still vote Green, but they're switching to support Bernie now. And
wow, that's awesome. So I'm going to read the bottom piece of this. I don't see anywhere in here, and I've really scanned it quickly because it just came out. The link is in the rundown, Scott, for John's run, but I'll drop that in when I get a chance. It's big on the HuffPost. It's just on Ralph Nader's main page on HuffPost. I guess he's got his own page. This is so at the top. He pretty much says, "Hey, Bernie, we get it, we understand." But here's what it says at the bottom. He's talking about some copy of Clinton book. He's obviously not a Clinton fan, but it says, "If and when Bernie Sanders is brought down by the very party he is championing, the millions of Bernie supporters, especially young voters, will have to consider breaking off into a new political party that will make American history. That means dissolving the dictatorial two-party duopoly." Why use these words, man? And it's ruinous, unpatriotic democracy destroying corporate paymasters. My God, that was a difficult sentence to read, for fuck's sake. Basically, what he's saying is that Bernie Sanders is running on the Dem ticket, but the Dems, the last statement here is great. It's not an endorsement of Bernie, but it is sort of, right? He's saying, look, people, us, we may have to, if Bernie is not elected, if the DNC doesn't go with our choice, and somehow through all of this corruptive government that we have here, they end up putting Hillary Clinton as the Democratic nominee, even though we know what the people want, that we may have to choose to break off, to separate out and say, fuck that. That's where I say all hell breaks loose when that happens, because that becomes a choice between, I don't know, because I will not vote for Hillary and I will not vote for anybody but Bernie Sanders as my candidate. I mean, that's the way it's going to be. And I disagree with the concept of a vote with the Dem choice. That's not going to happen this year, folks. Scott?
The problem, though, is the way the election laws are set up. It's almost impossible for a third party to do well enough to win.
But that's what's different now. That's what I'm saying. It's already a political revolution, Scott, and we're not going to put up with the shit. The country will not put up with the shit. I don't think they realize how we're this close to arming ourselves and marching. This close. I don't think people realize that. The internet is pissed. The people are pissed. And maybe it's, I don't know that you're traveling with the people that are around the rallies and stuff. I'm seeing what's happening on the internet and hearing the angry words. And I don't think it's going to stay peaceful if it becomes corrupt, if it becomes obviously corrupted. That's what I'm saying. What do you do at that point? Because who is there to enforce? This is the same problem we had with the 2000 election. Who is there to enforce anything if we find out it's corrupt? It's like, hey, we found out this is corrupt. And the government was like, so? Fuck you. What do we do? That's the, and I'm not saying you have to answer. It's a tough one to say. I'm just saying that's, thoughts, feelings. What would you do?
It's one of the problems with going third party, especially as long as this race is going to be, I don't think Bernie's going to be dropping out in March, or I think it's going to go well beyond that.
I agree.
It's getting it on the ballot and the other states. That's why Bloomberg is talking about he needs to make up his mind by March to have any realistic chance to get on ballots.
Yeah, that seems ridiculous. Do you think he'd be able to do that, or he's got enough money to just make that happen? Anyway, I mean, that's just ridiculous. Why would he even do that? Just because he's a 1% elitist? I don't even get it.
Yeah, he's saying that if the nominees are Trump and Bernie, that he's almost definitely going to jump in, I think.
So he thinks if he jumps in, if Bernie does get the Dem nom, he thinks he can fuck things up by jumping in. Is that basically what this is?
He thinks it's the two extremes of the parties, and he's going to come down the middle.
Oh my gosh, it is the two extremes. Except when you look at what has happened to the scales, right? and you and I know this, but corporate media doesn't talk about it, that everybody says, well, look at how crazy Bernie is, and look at how crazy Trump is. Our government has shifted so far right, folks. Our government is so far to the right of where it used to be that anything Bernie tries to do looks ridiculous. But for logical, sane human beings that want to take care of each other and recognize that what's going on here, Bernie's plan is actually right there where it needs to be.
Bloomberg jumps in. He's jumping in to win, not to spoil. And
does he have a chance?
Well, if he can convince enough people that it's the two extremes, then I'm the voice of reason, is what he's going to try to claim. And let's say it's Trump and Hillary, and Bloomberg jumps in. I believe he hurts Hillary more than he hurts Trump, because the Republicans aren't going to support Bloomberg. He was the Republican mayor in New York, and he left the party saying it went too far to the right, and he became an independent. And all he's been doing since then is spending tons of money on gun control. So I don't see him hurting Donald Trump at all if he jumps in. I think more of his support will come out of people that don't trust Hillary that don't want Trump.
Interesting.
So that's why I think it has to be Bernie and Trump, and then he's coming in to win, not to spoil.
That's not going to happen. That's not. So, that's not going to happen. And Trump won't become president. That won't happen either. That the American public won't let that happen. I don't think this is.
I think if Bloomberg came in and it was Trump against Hillary and Bloomberg, I think Trump could win that.
Oh gosh,
because
that's scary.
I think
that's a scary thought.
I think Bloomberg takes more away from Hillary. He was a Democrat his whole career until he decided to find the easy way to become mayor was to become a Republican.
The easy way to politics: become a Republican and buy your way in, make the money train. I mean, and on the Democratic side, it's about the same. It's just not as easy. It's not as fast, I'm guessing, because they try to have a little more morals and ethical base. But as we know, that's no different. They're just a different side of the establishment coupling, folks. It's just the same crap. I want to look at and help me, Scott, if I'm pronouncing this name wrong. Here's with Women for Bernie, Anoa Changa. Her name's Anoa, and we're this Black Burners, Georgia. She's a lawyer. She's with Women for Bernie, and somebody submitted this lovely. I think it was Nancy Evans, one of the wonderful people that helps us with stuff. And I was mean to her the other day. I apologize so deeply, Nancy. Projecting my own frustration over what happens with all this shit. Here is about an 8-minute. What do I got? No, 9:56, 10 minutes. I want to run this. This is Anoa talking about why she's for Bernie Sanders. She's a woman, and I think this is important. I haven't seen this yet. Let's check this out.
Go! Thank you.
So just real quickly, my thoughts about the young women being galvanized by Bernie. I mean, it's not like some mystical formula or anything. Young women, like young men, we are a generation that has been shut out by the financial crisis in 2008, who are coming of age at a time where interest rates on student loans, the student loan debt burden, credit card burden, I mean, so many things are just huge and imposing upon us and stifling opportunity and possibility. You know, we were allowed to dream as kids of the 80s and 90s, and then we're having our dreams stomped on by industry and society at a large, and having to regroup and rethink things. But still, people are very active and involved. I think having opportunity shut on us has forced us to be more active and involved in many ways. We get messages on Women for Bernie about women who, with the recent, comments by Debbie Wasserman Schultz about young women not being as, I think she called us complacent. I remember as a child going to NARAL functions with my godmother, who was a proud member of NARAL, and she did other reproductive justice work when I was growing up. So many of us had examples coming out of the 90s of that hard work and those hard fought battles of the women before us. And we take that very seriously. So when it's time to now put not just our vote behind someone, but our time, our volunteer energy, we're looking for a candidate that embodies the things that we value, because we do not want to be judged because we are women. We don't want the job because we want to be the best, hands down. We want to be recognized and not seen as just the woman doing this job. And so we have developed values and a system of beliefs that go beyond what people often compartmentalize us in these little boxes as, oh, those girls over there. No, we care about so much more. We are environmentalists. We are reproductive justice activists. We are teachers. We work with special needs and at-risk youth. We are nurses. We are doctors. We are CNAs. We are childcare workers. We run the gamut. We are stay-at-home moms. We are single moms. We are single moms who work and raise kids and go to school. We see very well the impact of the need. Well, we see the need for campaign finance reform. We understand how these different, political mechanisms affect our individual daily lives, and the effect is real and it's felt. And so we need a candidate that not only, says the right thing and promises, but who has a history and can inspire and motivate. There some of us, in 2008 were pro-Obama for the same reason of being inspired for something better coming out of the Bush years. And now here we are presented with Bernie Sanders. It's a no-brainer. His economic justice, his economic rights platform, racial justice, as a young black mother, his racial justice focus, and the fact that not only does he know how to say the names and he overcome the Black Lives Matter hurdle, but he understands the value of human life and what that matters for all of us. He has done the work to look at the lack of opportunity in some areas, and the fact that it is a travesty that as the greatest country on earth, we have such huge disparities based on not only wealth, but racial and ethnic origin, as well as gender. So when you have all those layers, exacerbated, I do not have a certain level of privilege. I do not have a certain status. So I do not have the luxury of just voting based on my gender, because there is no trickle down. Feminism isn't a trickle down thing either, because someone who has a certain amount of wealth, opportunity, and access gets something. That doesn't mean it's going to improve anything in my own personal life. Because when you look at other candidates, they make decisions that benefit a certain echelon in our society. Bernie Sanders is the person that is working for the everyday average American, and we're majority women. So when we're talking about why are young women galvanized, inspired by Bernie Sanders, it's the same reason why young men are galvanized, inspired by Bernie Sanders. Young people are inspired by Bernie Sanders because he is speaking to the issues that are affecting everyday average Americans. He's speaking to, those of us who are saddled beneath, mountains of student loan debt. We understand for our younger siblings and cousins and neighbors and children coming. We want something better. We want the promise of a better tomorrow. And it's not just some fancy-filled idealistic dream. There's real concrete information. As a young women, as people planning families, we want the opportunity for paid family leave, universal health care. We do not have to be saddled by debt from exorbitant health care costs. Do you know what it is to have a baby? What it costs to have a child in America? Not just raising the child, but to give birth to that child, to get the treatment you need for that baby while you are pregnant, while you're in the hospital. It is so far extreme. It is huge. It's a huge cost. To be able to take leave from work. You know, there are some comments about FMLA and how FMLA is just fine from other candidates. Well, you know, personally work for the federal government. I'm an attorney for the federal government. If I were to have a child today, I would have to use all my sick leave and annual leave for the year. So I'd have to pull together all my leave if I would still want to get my paycheck during that time, my leave. So that means I would not be able to use my leave for doctor's appointments. If I was sick, if my other children were sick, I wouldn't be able to use leave for any of that stuff. I'd have to save all my leave and put it towards maternity. And then whatever I needed over that would be unpaid leave. Now, I would be able to take a reduced amount of pay, you know, over a certain amount of period of time now, so that I can still get a check during that time I'd be off. But that's an overall reduction. That's no different than just being, you know, without pay, period. And in the plan, you know, put forth by Senate Democrats that Senator Bernie Sanders has supported, has endorsed, you know, that would add an extra $1.30 or so a week to our costs. So that if in the event that and it's not just for pregnancy, you know, FMLA can be used in the care of a sick family member. Like, there are all types of things that happen today that if you are not like relatively financially, you know, wealthy, or I guess not wealthy, but at least, you know, pretty well to do, when one person is talking about middle class is $250,000 a year, which is well above any estimate from the Pew Research Center or anywhere else, we have a disconnect. And a lot of us see that disconnect. There are things that, you know, the idea of women, you know, in charge and running things, that's great. That's warm and fuzzy and wonderful. But if that woman, that proposed person, does not support the ideas and values of a generation, no, we're not going to support them. We're going to support the person, regardless of gender, regardless of race, that supports the ideas, the values. You know, we're concerned about families being deported back to dangerous situations in other countries. We're concerned about a variety of things, and that needs to be understood. And we need to stop, you know, acting like, oh, it's so mysterious. Why do people like Bernie? People like Bernie. People support Bernie. People are willing to take time off from their jobs. People are willing to volunteer and go all in for Bernie because we believe that we deserve better. This is America. And we just want a fair chance, a fair shot at having, you know, a good life and better opportunity for ourselves and for our children. So young women are gravitating to Bernie because Bernie is representing America, not just a select few.
I've got some real estate here in my bank, counting the cars on the New Jersey Turnpike. They've all come to look for
Now you can hear me now. I love that commercial, that ad, whatever we're going to call it. I don't think it's fair to call that an ad. I don't like that term. That's a testimony. That's what that is. I mean, the piece with Enola beforehand and Noah beforehand, but then to tie it in with the America ad. Whew. But what she had to say really, I love what she had to say at the end there. And I think it's what a lot of us have been trying to wrap our heads around to explain as to why Hillary isn't enough this time. That's what it is. She's not good enough this time. We want something better. We deserve better than an establishment politician this time. If we had no other options, I would be choosing an establishment politician because we would have no hope. It would be the same thing over and over again. But we have hope, folks. We have the ability, the option, a choice this time. It is historic. It is unprecedented. It will never happen again in my lifetime. It will not happen again in Scott's lifetime. We will not see another man come around or woman like this, of this caliber, in our lifetime. If we do not do this now, then when? You know the meme I'm going to bring up. You know the guy. I'll bring it up in a minute, but not me, us. Not me, us. It's us. This is our time. I'm 46 years old. I couldn't be more excited that I am unemployed and have all the time in the world to sit here with this equipment and be here with you folks to bring Bernie into the White House. I am so excited to be here. I am so excited, so honored that we are all here together doing this. This makes life worth living for me. Because before Bernie, I had no freaking idea. I was like, this is gonna suck. Living with a country like I booked. I don't know, people don't know this. I booked a trip to Costa Rica to look for a place to live, to start a new life outside of America, because I was done with America. I had given up on this place, and my dad, believe it or not, my dad is my dad has worked for the government all his life. He has served our country all his life, and he had given up until Bernie Sanders. He finally gave up. With the Obama admin, he went, shit, it's all corrupt on both sides. You're right, John. I never thought I would say that. I never thought I'd hear my dad say it. And he did. And then Bernie Sanders. There's before Bernie and there's after Burn. We do the afterburn, folks, but thank all the gods, including the spaghetti monster, which is an official religion in Iceland, is it now? 244? Well, we really got that many people watching this right now. 201 concurrent viewers, 1,369 playbacks. This is what it's about. If you guys think I'm boring, that's fine. Tell me what you want to see or play. You want to talk about something else, let me know. We're just here right now to support the people and to blow up things on the internet. We want to blow up the hashtag, not me, us. Let me show you the slideshow here real quick. Where did that go? This is the important stuff, folks. We're not here to listen to me today. Really, we're not. Believe it or not. I know you don't believe me. Where did it go? It's right here. Sorry, guys. I got too many screens popping around. This, please, everybody around the world, if you're just tuning in. Boy, that's such a 1950s thing to say, isn't it, Scott? Wow. If you're just tuning in, if you've just adjusted your dial, Twitter accounts, follow at Bernie Sanders. Please retweet everything that comes out of that account and hashtag it with not me, us. And no, you don't have to add the capital letters to it like I did. I just think it reads weird without them. Reads like a word, but it's a lot faster, and it'll just show up automatically for you because it's trending. And let's see, where is it trending right now? I just want to take a look. Where is it trending? What do we have going on at this point? Not me, us. I lost my trends. Sorry, folks. Here we go. Let's just go home here. What are you guys seeing for trends out there? Yes, I know I'm leaving that up and it's boring for a second. Not me, us is still trending, folks. Here, we'll cut over to that screen. Why not? Boom. Of course it is. 71,700 tweets for not me, us. We're just going to keep that up there. But look, Ames is on its way. Ames, the Ted Cruz and Hillary Clinton moving up, catching up.
It's gone.
Is it gone for you?
Yeah, I don't see it on mine.
See this? And listen, look, folks, before y'all tell me, well, you've got customized and it's unique for every place. I'm well aware of that. What we're looking at here is trends on average. Okay. I'm seeing it. Half you people might not see it, but the truth is we know we're seeing this volume of activity. okay? And we look for the other things that are having a volume of activity. Hillary has got a volume of tweets going on for her, a large volume of tweets. Maybe this is the sneak attack on the rise here. What is this? All right, we're going to show this because this is typical. This is I told you there was going to be something fired back across the bow, right? This is how it works in a war of information. And this, I don't know, we haven't read the article, but this is the headline. Hillary Clinton, Gabby Giffords asks Iowans to make guns a voting issue. Why? Because it's one of the only places she thinks she can attack Bernie. Guns. We've gone over the gun issue over and over and over again. There's been videos made by volunteers over and over and over again. There's memes all over the web about the gun issue and what it means and why it's complex and what Hillary's position is, what Bernie's position is. In the end, overall, don't let yourself get tunnel visioned. If you're an undecided, if you're sure you're a Hillary voter now, but you're actually interested in opening up your mind and looking at the facts, let's not get tunnel visioned into one thing about one decision that Bernie made with one piece of legislation, one time, okay? His record isn't wishy-washy on this. Guns are a difficult issue, and they're a difficult issue in my personal opinion because this country has been indoctrinated to believe that everybody needs to be a dick-swinging, gun-toting rebel. And thank you, NRA, for perpetuating that bullshit for decades. But
and Hillary believed that 2008 when she was attacking Obama on guns.
There you go.
Go
for it. Tell us up. Learn us, Scott, because I know this is true. We know this is true, and this is just setting the record straight on Hillary Clinton's gun record, right?
Yeah, and she said that there are different laws in New York City than there are in New York State, the rest of the state, because she said it exactly this way. That guns in New York City, that laws in New York City aren't going to work in Montana, which is essentially what Bernie was saying when he talked about the rural issues and everything. And she tried to claim it was a racist statement.
Right.
When he said it. But she said the same thing 4 years ago.
Right.
8 years ago.
Right. But for some reason, and this is, tell me if you see this because you're much closer to media on the ground and what's going on. You know what these people's names are. I mean, I half the time you're like, that's such and such. He works for them. Oh, I don't know who that is. The other day I grabbed a quote from somebody. I think his last name was Isa. I don't even know who the guy is. And apparently he's just a piece of shit source. So apologies everybody for pushing that out. I'm learning. He's a what?
He's a congressman.
Oh, well, piece of shit fits, I guess, probably. But he had pushed out a piece of information about the FBI ready to indict Hillary, which made me very happy. But apparently everybody said that was bogus. So it's bogus. So, it's another difference between us and mainstream media. If I find out I'm full of shit, if I say something wrong, folks, let me know. I am learning with you. The job is to inform, and that includes me. I'm not almighty. I'm not all-knowing, all-seeing. Neither is Scott, although he knows a shitload more about all this stuff going on than I do, which is why we're lucky to have him. Alive and kicking, sir.
Yes. Some days are better than others.
I bet they are. Here, let's show something else. This just for fun. I got to show this image. I can't find the meme, but we were talking about this before. Here's Hillary in Iowa. This is why the establishment is freaking right now. It's because all the people are with Bernie. The people are with Bernie. But what's great about this picture is you see where the cameras are, you see where people are and how much room there is. But when you find this on mainstream media, folks, you will not see this. You will see a close-up image that makes it look like it is a packed house full of Hillary folks. Right.
I don't understand their logic, but that's the way all our events are.
Really?
They're ticketed. They're all staged. She's down on the floor with chairs around her. And she's almost never at a podium.
Really?
They're all staged events, and I'm not sure that she couldn't have bigger crowds if they wanted to, but they're setting them up. In the beginning, they were saying that they wanted these smaller events so she would be closer to the people. And last time, she would fly in and fly out in a helicopter.
Ooh, fancy.
And this time they wanted her to be closer to the people and everything. But I just think it is backfired, because if everybody's coming to your event and has a ticket, they're probably already volunteering for you. So you're not getting new volunteers.
Right.
But that's how our events are. They're small and staged, and that's the way they seem to want them, the campaign. I don't know if the Secret Service may be having some impact on that.
Yeah. Well, talk about that for a second. I'm framing up this great cartoon that's hashtagged with not me, us. But while I get this ready, what you were saying, that it's more of a pain in the butt now for you. We're all happy, of course, that Bernie Sanders is getting Secret Service protection. He should have been getting that a long time ago. But nobody in our group, this is interesting, folks. Scott's the only person, really. I mean, we've got other people that have been on the road with politics, but not like Scott. Scott is with reader-supported news, and they've been reporting politics for quite some time, and he knows what the hell he's doing. He's got actual credentials. If it weren't for Scott, we wouldn't have any idea how to get credentials and get in there. So what we found out the moment everybody went, Bernie needs Secret Service, Scott was the only one in our group to say, I guess, but that makes it a pain in the ass. Tell us why, Scott.
You have to show up a few hours before the event set up, and then you have to leave when they come through with the dogs and check all the equipment. Sometimes you have to leave for 2 hours, and it's just a pain. And
So you leave for a couple hours. Why? What are they doing for these 2 hours?
They're bringing the dogs in, sniffing everything, and
checking for bombs and whatnot. And
yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm sure they have people looking out for all the other stuff. I'd be more worried about snipers and crazy people like that. But I suppose whatever they got to do. I realize it makes it a pain in the ass. Do you think it will? I was worried about this. Do you think it's going to affect people being able to get close to him at the end of these rallies?
I've noticed more rope lines now.
Oh man, see
that's before. Yeah,
that's the bummer part, really, for me, because he's so he's so personal, and you just, people are, can I hug you? Give him a kiss, shake his hand, and you just know, I get it. We all worry about it. He is family, and you just know that there's one person that may be crazy and try to do something, and but I love the fact that he's so close to the people.
He still walks along the rope line, shaking hands and everything.
Does he? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. That's good. Check this cartoon out, guys. This is on the. We're just looking at Twitter. We're looking at Not Me Us hashtag, which is what you should be blasting out on the web for us. Please, all around the world, help us today. Blast that hashtag Not Me Us. And you're going to look at Bernie Sanders' account on Twitter and retweet everything he's got going. We want to keep this thing at the top of the Twitter charts. We'll be spinning your favorite memes. So this is Guerrilla Democrats, Hillary's corporate Democrats trying to take down Bernie Sanders, and that corporate America cartoon there. That's awesome. This is this stuff doesn't exist for the Hillary campaign, folks. It doesn't exist. That's what makes the 99 unique. That one, this is the losing proposition that the 1% didn't count on. This is the losing proposition that every 1%, every oligarchy, every monarchy that exceeds its privilege doesn't count on. And that's the tipping point. The tipping point where the people say, fuck this. We are done. Fuck you. We are many. You are few. You did it this way. You could have kept things in balance, but you chose to be greedy. And now we're going to kick your ass. Basically what it comes down to. History has repeated itself over and over again with this. This is not a new model. It's just a revolution. What we're hoping though, is that this time we can use our own system to affect change, because that's kind of what it's designed for. If anything, if our system is going to survive, then we should be able to change it to affect this paradigm shift for the good of all, even if we have to fight the establishment to get it done, because the system is supposed to allow for that to happen. I really hope we can do this with Bernie Sanders through the system. I hope that even the most evil of corporate entities, and I do say this as a plea, that the most evil of corporate entities, the most evil of politicians, whoever you may be, that at some point you recognize that you have a planet against you, and it becomes ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous to fight that. It just becomes stupid. And at some point, as all of the politicians come over to the Bernie side, as they recognize as the superdelegates that Scott was explaining, that these superdelegates are politicians, and the superdelegates are the key, right? They're the big key as they talk about this. If you can't get the superdelegates moved over, you got big problems. You know, as they shift, I hope that their business partners, their corporate business partners, whoever you are, understand that when we say we are against your corporation, it is because we are against the way it functions as a business. The people that make it go, they're all people, they're human beings, and each one of them has to make their own choices, right? But we have to separate that out. We just have to change. We have to evolve corporate business to understand how to make profit, but not be assholes. How to it's just that's it. We're evolving. It's a new partnership, a new way to do business, and there are companies ready to do this. There are companies already doing this. It's you either evolve or you die, and I don't mean that in any rude way, but the human beings involved, folks, the human beings are all human beings. They all need to be taken care of. And yes, there are some that are going to need to go to prison. There are lots that are going to need to go to prison. Make no mistake. There are many that are going to need to pay back massive sums of money and go to prison. There are many companies that should get liquidated for their crimes against humanity, like ExxonMobil. That's all going to have to work out in the wash. But there are many, many other industries, many other companies out there that can make a choice right now to be a better company, to walk away from the establishment, to pull their interests out of government, because that's not how it's supposed to work, folks. And to let your business be your people and let that flow. That's what we're saying is evolve as your people have evolved, the people that work for you. We have evolved. If your corporation cannot evolve as we have evolved, sorry, the system is going to be changed to meet our needs because it's our fucking system and we can do with it as we please. Bottom line. What else we got here? Is this a scare article or is this just here? Now this is Washington Post. All right, I have a question for you, Scott. Are you able to talk for a sec? It's okay if you're not. It's cool. You're muted right now.
No, I am.
Oh, there you go. Okay. So before I show this Washington Post post, and hey, all 208 of you showing here with 1,600 playbacks and an average of 10-minute view duration, thank you for being here. No pressure. Oh, what time is it? 2. We've got an hour to go before we'll shut down and get ready for the broadcast. When do you have to get out of there, Scott?
Probably about a half hour.
Okay, cool. Let me just check something in live broadcast, see what's going on. Anybody good? Prepared questions? What are prepared questions? Sorry, Janine, I'm looking at your notes. Janine, by the way, everybody, Janine is on the ground in Rhode Island, getting Bernie Sanders on the ballot. She's been doing this for days. That's why she hasn't been around. That's why I've been really cranky. And I apologize to everybody in the Bernie TV group. Scott, I brought you back in. Apologize. My question was, I see a lot of back and forth about the Washington Post is a establishment paper, the New York Times establishment paper, and we see some articles that come out that are nice and some articles that come out that are bad. Can we generalize these papers all in all, or is that wrong to do? Are there truly papers that are in, like this Washington Post ad or article here that Bernie Sanders wants to spend $1 trillion on infrastructure? I haven't read it yet, but it could be a slam article. It could be, you know a lot more about this. Educate us.
I think there have been a lot of reporters at the Times and the Post that have bashed Bernie. I think the person who's been traveling with Bernie, John Wagner's been pretty good. But a lot of the more opinion-based writers have usually been pro-Clinton, I think, and especially at the New York Times. There's this one reporter, I can't, but it was at a press conference, at a veterans press conference that Bernie had, and he just kept pushing this question at him, and Bernie kept saying, you'll have to ask Hillary, you'll have to ask Hillary, and then he wrote the headline exactly what he wanted Bernie to say, and Bernie never really said it, and it just oh man, I'm trying to blank on his name. I see him on TV all the time too.
Oh, I don't know who any of them are.
New York Times, yeah.
Well, there's been a big slam on the New York Times, but didn't they just didn't the editorial board of the Times just announce for Hillary and I forget who else, somebody else? Did you see that? Did you see that post? It was.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, they announced, the editorial board announced, the establishment portion. So it sounds to me like what you're really saying is that it really comes down to the individual, and it comes down to the person, right? Because a corporation is represented by individuals, and I think what we're going to start to see is how those individuals break apart, right? How many of them are willing to take a stand or not take a stand? Is it going to start costing people's jobs? It certainly cost Ed Schultz's job, didn't it?
Seems so.
This is the other. We're at home, folks. Somebody's at my door. I hope it's the mailman. Close my door. I should probably run another video. So in your opinion, it really comes down to the individual. And you think the guys on the road, you've seen the road team. You think they're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, he's been pretty much with Bernie since the beginning of the campaign, and I thought he's been pretty fair.
Nice. So what do you think about I'm going to look for another piece to run. Bernie asked for more debates. Hillary went along with it. What does that tell you?
That she doesn't think she's in the lead anymore. Let's see. Usually the front runner doesn't want debates. They want to play it safe, and that's why it wasn't a surprise that O'Malley and Bernie were pushing for debates, and Hillary didn't want them when she was up 30 points. But now that she's not up 30 points, now she wants debates. So I think they think there's more trouble down the road than just Iowa and New Hampshire. If they thought their firewall was going to work, they probably still wouldn't want debates.
Nice. Yes, there we are. Sorry, guys, folks. Trying to bounce back and forth here. Yeah, it's to me, it signals scared. It signals, yeah. I keep seeing these posts, and I keep seeing everybody. It's funny. The burners, everyone, and John, please check out March for Bernie on Twitter. Okay. I will check out March for Bernie. We'll do that. Let's make sure we tag any of those along with the not me, us. All right. We're pushing that today. Yes. This is tough. Lost my place. Too many things at once. Occasionally my brain just goes looking at Scott over here, looking at this over here. About to pull up a video. I was reading some chat stuff. We're talking about the debates. Yeah. That's what I was saying. I see Hillary people saying this is a good thing. Like they think she does well. And it's funny. Like I watched her walk out on stage. I only got that far. I watched her walk out on stage for the last town forum, Scott, that was on that we couldn't broadcast. And just a side note on that, everybody keeps telling me, can we do what TYT does? I promise you, the minute I have like half an hour to look at what they do and think about it, I could probably figure out how to do it, and maybe we can do it. I don't know. Probably. I got to see what they do. But right now, I need to get Bernie in Iowa. That's all I'm thinking about. But yes, we could probably do that. But the town forum was funny because, or at least it was funny to me. And I'm not making fun of Hillary and the way she walks or runs or whatever, but she kind of did this little peppy jog out on the stage. And I thought, is that her way of showing that she too can come down an escalator and haul ass or something? I just, it cracked me up. Like she was, is that her effort at being more personable and fun? Or does she do that wherever she goes? I didn't, everything about it came across fake to me, very rehearsed. It's so easy for the American public to see that these days. I think, and yeah, I'm going to offend older people right now, like my dad. But I think 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago, it was not as, I think, one, people were more honest on television. And I think, two, it was more difficult to tell when they were lying. I think it was more difficult to tell when they were not being personable. I think micro expressions weren't as easy to read. I think today we see Hillary come out. We hear those rehearsed things. We're used to it. We know how politicians do this. It got so bad. And Scott, you can chime in on this too. It got so bad because you've seen this before in debates where they ask the person a question. And I think this was pretty much, well, this is the debates I remember from the 80s where really nothing was said unless it was a breakout wild card question. But it was basically this. The announcer would go, candidate blah, 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 question about foreign policy, about this specific thing, about how we would attack this issue right now. And the response is, well, and then they just read their goddamn stump information. They don't even answer the question. They just go, well, if I were president, I would do this and this, and then I would do this, and then I would do this, and we would do that by this and raising taxes. Yes, sir, but I asked you about what we would do with that incident in this country. I would do this and that's literally what the debates used to be. Do you remember these days, Scott?
Yeah, but to be fair, it's staying on message a lot of times.
But it doesn't, okay, it stays on message, but it's the same message. It's like, yes, we've heard you say that soundbite before, right? We've heard that rehearsed, prepared statement. I don't need that one. I've got it in my banks. Thank you. You know, what else comes out of your mouth that's original material? I think that's what we're looking for. We don't want, basically Hillary's a cover band. I want the original artist.
I remember the first time I saw O'Malley back in last February. I was really impressed with him, but the second time I realized he's just fake, and
it's the same. It's the same thing.
Yeah,
and you know,
like at that forum that you talked about, when he came out, he was like, "Oh, I can't stand up. I can't sit down and take questions in Iowa." And then he takes off the jacket, rolls up the sleeves. It's the same act all the time.
yeah. And man, did you see? Yeah, I mean, to emulate the point, have you seen? It's either Colbert or somebody, I can't remember, one of these guys, one of the really funny guys on comedy. And the sad thing about comedy is they talk about politics, but then they're discounted because they're comedians, but they're really the ones telling you real news better than mainstream media. But they showed McCain over the years tell the same joke over and over and over and over. It was like, oh my God, get a new fucking joke. You've told the same joke for 40 years and people keep going, ha, ha, ha. You mean to tell me the press crew that's followed him around all that time is like, Jesus, dude, that is the same joke. And you know, it's Bernie Sanders is able to speak without a teleprompter. He's able to answer questions without looking at a script. I have not yet heard Hillary Clinton go off script or have to address something like, oh shit, what do I say here? That's nice.
I remember the second time I saw O'Malley, he had a teleprompter the first time, and he had a teleprompter set up the second time. But since Webb was there and Webb didn't use the teleprompter, he didn't use the teleprompter. It's like, it was just, but if Webb had used the teleprompter, he would have used the teleprompter.
Right. It's even Obama, I hate to say it, Obama, when he's on game, is great, okay? But what Obama's big skill is he is a good teleprompter reader. And I've talked about this before. Yeah. Okay, you people that can read well, and you know who can. You know who can read teleprompter like experts? Obama, Stephen Colbert, Jon Stewart. Right. The reason is, look at the two guys who do SNL Weekend Update. Right. They're reading a script, but they are able to think ahead, to look ahead in the script, to know what's coming, to make sure the micro expressions are correct, to know that I'm going to ad lib in this spot, or I'm going to stop here where there's a pause. I'm going to interject something. I'm not quite going to say that way. I'm going to take out the and here, and I'm going to go with this. You're literally improving the script as it's coming through so that it feels natural to you. And that is a skill. And these guys have it, and Obama has that skill. The moment he is not, here's the problem. Here's the offshoot to that skill, is you almost lose your ability to go improv. And Obama has a very difficult time on improv. He's much slower. He takes a lot longer to deliberate about what comes out of his mouth. We all know it. We all see it because when he's on game and he's reading teleprompter, he's shooting baskets, right? He's boom, and when he's not, he's very meticulous about the words that he's saying so that he does not fuck up. When Bernie speaks, he just speaks. We've seen him with stacks of papers, and he shuffles through them like an old professor. But he doesn't need that stuff. I haven't seen him with papers, actually, in a while. Have you, Scott? Does he still have a stack of papers with him, or cue cards or anything?
I don't most usually see paper. There have been, no, I didn't, even in the last of it when I was in Clinton and the last place, I didn't see paper.
Right. That's it. It's just, he's natural. And there's, when you talk about, let's just take this off into the world of how do you use that to your advantage as a politician getting into office? Because that's what it's about. How are you going to win the election with that? Because trust is built through that kind of rapport. If what you're saying, if the way Bernie speaks to us, and we all say this, when Bernie talks, it's not prepared. We don't see him doing this meta thinking and trying to figure out how he's going to arrange. Like, we know Stephen Colbert is great at what he says, but we know he's on a script and then off a script and on a script. Bernie just talks. I don't think he thinks script at all. He's just like, now I'm going to talk to the American people, and he has a bullet list. We're going to talk to him about income inequality. He knows everything he's got to say about it. And then he adds things in his own head. Last week, I saw this and then I talked to this person over here, and I'm sure he's getting bullet points, and I'm sure they're, hey, maybe we should talk about this, and this is important because you're here. I'm sure all of that's going on. That's just called strategy. Hey, camera, I'm right here. That's just called strategy. That's smart. Of course that's happening. But what I'm saying is that he doesn't have to prepare anything, because the truth doesn't take a lot of preparation. The truth just needs a voice. And we got one. And then he asked us to be the amplifier. We are the amplifier. We are the voice. Interesting. Of Bernie Sanders, of the people. That's what we are. We're going to run this clip. Who cares about Bernie Sanders? But before I run this clip, we're going to look one more time at the point. If you haven't been inundated with these words yet, you are going to be inundated with them now. Twitter accounts, please follow, pay attention to these people, at Bernie Sanders in particular, and retweet everything this man's got going on with hashtag not me us. I want the world to do this. This is a call to the world. We need your help. America is in danger of being lost to a criminal establishment government, and we need everyone in the world's help to let our establishment government know that their time has come to an end. And this year, we will be putting our champion, the champion of the people, Bernie Sanders, in office, along with 435 other people that actually give a shit about us, along with whoever else we can put, a third of Senate, right? Isn't that we got this year? That's what we're going to do. We're going to fill all those spaces. Janine's peeking in every once in a while saying, hey, Hey, Janine, thank you for doing the really hard on-the-ground drudgery work. To me, that's the drudgery work. That's probably the most fun work, doing that. But you're standing out in the cold. You're getting signatures. That's the hard-ass work. That's why, for me, sitting here for hours on end, I will do this until I drop, folks, because I'm not the one in Iowa right now. I am not the one that has to get in their car, drive to a place, stand in a room with a whole bunch of people, and wait to be counted on Monday. I am not the one that has to make the decision to get out of their couch, to grab that change out of that couch, because that's good Bernie donation change, couch change for Bernie. Somebody came up with that. I can't even remember what the hashtag was at for that. But I don't have to do that yet. I don't even know what Portland does. I don't know if, or Oregon does. We have I think I just fill out a thing. I don't think we do a caucus. But I don't have to do that hard work yet, folks. I sit here in this chair, right, and talk to you guys. I am the USO. And I mean no disrespect to the USO whatsoever. You guys do wonderful things. I'm not trying to even that. I'm just saying that our function here is to impart information, to encourage everybody else to get off their asses and go do the work that they can do on the ground, because it's boots on the ground that wins a revolution. What we're doing here is making sure that the truth is spoken, and it's louder than what establishment media is screaming on the internet, because we own the internet. And this is where we win the war of information. Let me pull up this video that I said we were going to run. This is Who Cares About Bernie Sanders from Life with Laughter. I don't know who submitted this, but it's great. And we're just going to run this really quick. It's a clip about people talking about Bernie Sanders during a phone banking thing. I certainly can't show it like that. That's terrible. 1 second, folks. Thank you for sticking with me and us today, all of you out there. This is just to provide you guys with some Bernie entertainment, something to do, something to hang out, help us push this message until we go live with the event later. Scott's probably got to get out of here soon if he isn't already. Here you go. Here's the folks at Scott's Cafe. Hey, everybody, you're on Bernie 2016 TV, whether you know it or not. There they are. I hope they're voting for Bernie. But we're going to watch this right now. This is Who Cares About Bernie Sanders? You know who cares? All of us. All of us care about Bernie Sanders because he gives a shit about us. Here we go.
At Mac Senate Studios doing a Bernie Sanders phone bank. I know nothing about phone banking. I just am getting involved with the Bernie Sanders campaign. And I'm very curious as to why other people are interested in getting behind the Bernie Sanders campaign. So what I wanted to do is talk to them about why they're here to support, what it is they're doing, and why they're excited about Bernie Sanders in the first place.
My name is Sam. I'm a volunteer with Senator Bernie Sanders' presidential campaign.
Bernie's the only one that has the real solution.
When Bernie caucuses on February 1st, can he count on your support?
I'm glad to hear that. Haven't heard of him even today.
Nice talking to you.
Bernie Sanders is the real deal. He's been that way for 30 years, and he has no ties to big money. That's why I'm supporting him.
I support him. The simple answer will be because he's an honest man.
He comes from a small state and was an independent, and I don't think a lot of people are aware of how awesome he's been for as long as he has been awesome.
He doesn't pander to minority voters.
He takes climate change seriously. It's like the biggest issue right now.
He actually opposed the war in Iraq and is very, very cautious about the use of American power like that. And yet he's been one of the strongest voices in the Senate for getting good medical care to veterans.
In terms of all of the terrible things that are happening with police brutality and race relations in the country, Bernie has really made an effort to include those voices in his campaign. And I honestly think that if a person like Bernie Sanders is not leading this country, then things are going to get much, much worse.
I think sometimes people do think, oh, he's just saying the same thing over again. He's been saying the same for decades because it's true.
I kind of talk to my friends and to friends that feel somehow socialism is this communism, that they don't know what it means. But coming from a communist country, I know what communism is. It's where the state owns everything and you're just working for common good. That's not what Bernie Sanders is proposing.
What he proposes seems very familiar to me as an Australian, as a citizen of a social democratic country. And I can vouch for the fact that such a country is a pleasant place to live in.
I think I speak for a lot of people my age. I'm 23, just graduated from university, and I think we're part of a generation who grew up thinking that America was the greatest country on earth, with a great middle class and great opportunities for everybody. And I think Bernie is the only candidate who's really saying it genuinely, that maybe that's not so much the case anymore.
All these other politicians talk the talk about how they want to reform campaign financing, but he's the only one not taking super PAC money, actually being financed by the people.
This is the way for people to show that their voice matters and that it's not the voices of the corporations and the billionaires that determine what America is and what America does in the world. It's the individual voter.
At first I was very skeptical about what was going on because it almost felt too good to be true. And the more I dug in, the more I've kind of paid attention to what it is he's saying, the more it doesn't feel that way at all. And I'm very happy to be getting involved. I wasn't involved in the Obama thing. I didn't pay attention. Anything before that, I was very much Republican because I came from a Republican state with a Republican family, and that's all that I knew.
Bernie Sanders brings out the best in us and is fighting and talking about what we can do as people.
It's one of the first elections where you truly have a great human being that is insanely ethical and is passionate and brilliant. I think it's really important for everybody to let everybody know that. The world's in a very precarious place right now, and we need to have someone who's sane, who's rational, and who's passionate about quality for humanity and is a force of good and a force of light in the world. It's absolutely essential that people get active because this is maybe the last election that we as a public can make a difference.
I think it's important right now to be involved with this political race. You are entitled to your own opinion. Get involved, do some research, figure out who it is you want to back and back them, and do what you can to help get your message and the people who are promoting your message into office. That's the only way that what you want is going to happen. If you want to know more about the Bernie Sanders campaign, click on this link and you can find more information down below. Subscribe, share, do what you can, get involved.
I'm not really sure when this is going to kick back on, everybody, but there's another instance of somebody sharing a video, or you know, it's just another Bernie Sanders video, but they've monetized it. I don't know if you can hear me. We'll just wait till it comes through. People, let me know when you can see me. This is another thing that we deal with because of YouTube. This is a YouTube issue. Are we back, everybody? Let me know. I've got March for Bernie video up here if we're back.
It's not back on YouTube.